Hello, my wellbeing buddies. It's Steve. I'm back doing this session on bereavement. So, when I was in primary healthcare, I had a lot of people come into me with recent loss. So, needless to say, the grief was quite painful, lots of crying, lots of pain. And I think what's important here is we need to accept that that is normal. It is normal to experience loss. And dare I say, grief is the price we pay for love. And I know that doesn't help, but we need to normalize it as well. We can't go around medicating people because of their experiencing this level of pain and grief. It is normal to go through a grief process, and we'll talk a bit more about that. Now, grief is difficult. You know, we've all lost people, and us as nurses, we see it every day. And it doesn't get any easier for us, but there is a level of acceptance that comes with grief. So let's just start off with by talking about what grief and bereavement actually is. So bereavement refers to that experience of losing loved ones. And again, it doesn't have to be people, it could be pets as well. It can be really difficult time. It can be a difficult process for people. It can be quite challenging for them to go through. It can cause some conflicts and confusions. And that's because we do that bargaining thing. Why me? Why them? Why not somebody else? There is no right or wrong way to grieve, other than the fact that what the DM5 or the ICD-11 state is, between 6 months and 12 months would be seen as prolonged grief, a long period of grief. And that would seem as a little bit abnormal. However, we should get over it between 6 months and to 12. Now, the signs and symptoms that we're looking for here then, it is this intense feeling of sadness, this grief, this despair. It is the sense of being numb and completely in shock. You may find that you've got difficulties concentrating or poor decision making. You may find that your sleep patterns have altered. There's that fatigue feeling, just being constantly drained, of being overwhelmed. There may be feelings of guilt where you go through that reflective cycle. There may be some anger, irritability, and frustration based upon this loss and the grief cycle. There may be some self-isolation and feelings of loneliness. So again, all normal. It's important to note that these symptoms are a normal part of that grieving process. However, if it does carry on, if it's going over a prolonged period of time, then it is definitely worthwhile talking to somebody and getting some help. So what does the grief cycle look like? Well, there's 5 stages to the grief cycle. We have denial. And this is this bit in which the bereavement and the person has passed, and it's just this sudden loss and disbelief and shock. That then moves around into anger. And anger is where we start to feel resentful or frustrated about that loss. Why are you leaving me here? What's going on? Why you? We then might end up in that bargaining situation, you know, making a deal, just bring them back, do this, please, and I'll do this for you. We end up with then that depression, those periods of low mood, so coming down, just feeling hopelessness and despair and life can't go on. And we lose enjoyment in things because, again, of the guilt. And then we move into the acceptance. And the acceptance is the final stage where we're able to move on with our lives. So getting over that grief, no longer feeling that deep level of sad and pain, but still there in a certain way. So the treatment for bereavement here is psychoeducation, understanding the fact that we're going to go through this process. It's not a unique, it's a universal process for most of us. And just being kind to ourselves, just being self-caring, allowing ourselves to get through it, acknowledging those feelings, validating them, but making sure we self-care for ourselves. So make sure that we still have our routine, we still exercise, we still eat healthily, and we still do our normal stuff. It's important to get a social support network around you, people to talk to, family and friends, providing that sense of comfort and people that give you that validation as you're going through that process. You may find some therapy useful, so some bereavement therapy. And in the link below, when we go to the comments box, I'm going to pop in there the cruise bereavement lines, and I'll pop a pet one in there as well. So you've got some people that you can talk to help manage that bereavement. You may find some PRN medication, so as and when required medication, just to help with that anxiety, that depression, or that poor inability to sleep. And then again, you might find some mind-body therapy really working well for you. The reality is there's no right or wrongs when dealing with grief. It is a personal thing, and it's how we get to manage that. So it's that sense of just trying to move through that grief cycle, allowing that opportunity to feel what we feel and get to that point of acceptance so we can move on. Now, if grief is present and something that we all go through, it's not something we can avoid, it is important just to have, your coping strategies sorted out. So again, in the videos below, you might find that guided meditation useful. You may find the mindfulness useful. You may find, if you've got those spiraling thoughts, those grounding skills useful. Or indeed look at some of those coping skills, so some of that muscle relaxation and some of that visualization might be useful as well. But whatever it is good to talk. It's good to talk to help move that process around and get you to a point of comfort quickly. I wish you all the best of luck, and take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.